Hello and welcome to another video. My name is Lizzie and today we're going to be talking about ARCs. An ARC is an advanced reader copy, so it is a copy of a book that is sent out prior to publication for people to review and to kind of generate a bit of hype around the book and get the word out there. It's a publicity object. There's a lot of mystery around advanced copies, I feel. So today we're gonna shed some light on that. I think it's something, if you've never got into it, if you've never read an advanced copy of a book, if you've never really explored that, then it can seem like something that you have to have a certain number of subscribers or a certain presence or whatever to reach. And I am here to tell you, with my very low subscriber count and Instagram follower count, that is not the case. So today we're going to demystify the process a bit and talk about the different ways that we can get ARCs and why you might want to get ARCs. There are a number of reasons why you might want to read ARCs. Let's all acknowledge that we like having things in advance. We like that feeling of, oh, I've got this before anyone else has. I get to read it early. I know there have been some books that I've been so excited to be approved for an ARC for, because sometimes it is a book I am personally so excited to read, but sometimes it's something like, oh, I get to get a bit ahead of the crowd, It does make you feel a bit special. Let's be honest, it does. I've been reading ARCs for just over a year now, and I have found that it is such a good way of discovering new authors and new books that you would never have come across before. And I have read so many amazing books and come across amazing authors that I would just they would never have stumbled into my path if I hadn't been reading advanced copies, reading review copies. So that is another reason, if you're looking to branch out a little bit, to explore different things, to come across different authors, that is something I would recommend. And also, if you do read a lot of books, then it is more financially viable to read review copies because they are free. So that is another, in many ways, the best reason is you get free books. So yeah. So what happens with an advanced copy is an author or a publisher will send you a copy for free with the understanding that you will write a review. I'm always very careful with my phrasing for this. It's with the understanding, not in exchange for a review. Because in exchange for, in our world of hashtag ad, hashtag gifted, in exchange for implies payment. And I've not been paid to do this, I've been given a book with the understanding that I will review it, I will promote it, I will discuss it. If I don't like the book, I'm not going to review it, or I will, and I'll be honest in my review. I'm not being paid to promote this book. I am choosing to and receiving this free book with that understanding. And I think it's also important, as I was saying about follower count earlier, yes, of course, publishers and authors want to get their books into the hands of people who do have a big follower count so that it can reach a higher number of people. But they also want a nice, healthy Goodreads rating. So if you have a Goodreads account and you review regularly on Goodreads, you're the sort of person that lots of people will want reviewing their books, because they want that, number of reviews to be a nice, healthy number with a healthy average. So you don't need a huge follower count. I would say the first step, if you would like to review books, is to review some books that you have read anyway, that you have bought or borrowed from the library or whatever it is. Just start writing little reviews. And I set up a blog to put them all on, which I found really, really useful as kind of like a central place for my reviews. I'll put a link in the description. It gets very little traffic. It is easily the lowest traffic of all of my social media platforms, but it is where I get the vast majority of messages through there, and that is what authors will share. If they want to share my review after, they will share it from my blog. So I think it is really good to have a blog, just so there's a centralized place for your reviews, that if someone wants to specifically look through your reviews, see what your review style is, that they can find it there. That being said, do share things onto Goodreads. I know that there are many problems with Goodreads, but that's how many people, myself included, look for a book recommendation. If they've come across something and they want to find out if it's good, they go to Goodreads. So make sure you put reviews on Goodreads as well. I mentioned earlier the different reasons why you might want to read ARCs, and I think thinking about which of those reasons is most important to you will kind of lead you on to the next step in terms of getting ARCs. So if you would just like more books, if you would like to discover new authors, then I really recommend the website Book Sirens. I've used that a fair amount, and it's mostly used by self-published authors and small independent publishing houses. So there are two kind of sides to this website. So the first one is that people can upload ARCs that they have. So this is all digital copies. They can upload digital copies and you can request and download them. I think you can download up to 3 at a time. I think it starts off as 1 and you build up to 3 at a time, and then you have to review them by the deadline before you can download another one. There's loads and loads of filters by genre, and you create your own account and kind of curate the books that you want to see based on your preferences, your genres, what kind of age range you read, all of that sort of thing. The flip side of Book Sirens is that when you create a profile, you become part of their reviewer registry. So I would say probably a big chunk of my messages from people asking me to review a book come via Book Sirens, because they find me in their directory and they go to my blog and they can look through my reviews, read my review policy, and then say, hey, would you like to review my book? There are other similar websites out there. That's just the one that I use, and I found it to be a really nice website to use, and you get all sorts of stats as well, and who doesn't love some good stats? There are also other directories if you are looking for e-ARCs, so like Kindle copies or for whatever e-reader you use. There are a bazillion places on the internet, so Facebook groups. I don't use Reddit, but I'm sure there are Reddit threads. Twitter, just use social media to find groups of reviewers or groups of authors who are looking for reviewers, and that's a really nice way to kind of support independent authors and independent publishing houses, and to get to know the authors as well a little bit more. Carrying on with digital ARCs, NetGalley. NetGalley is a website where publishers and authors put up their books and you request them and for review. Basically, it's the place. You've almost certainly heard of it. It is the place for advanced Kindle copies. Because it is a high profile website and it's used by pretty much all of the big publishing companies, I think, to some extent or another. There are thousands of books on there. All the big releases, not all, I don't want to guarantee all, but many of the big releases go onto NetGalley. There have been some very hyped books that I have read, or I'm even currently reading Electra by Jennifer Saint, which hasn't come out yet at the time of filming. Things like that, they're all on there. Again, there are things you've never heard of, plenty of things you've never heard of, but that's sort of for traditional publishing. NetGalley is the place to go for Kindle copies. Now, NetGalley is a whole beast unto itself. It's a whole thing. Again, there's a lot of mystery around NetGalley. I think I see on Twitter people being kind of put off by it when they go to log on. They think it's just for people in the publishing industry, and it's not, but I don't want to go into that in this video, so I'm going to do another one of NetGalley 101, where we go into how NetGalley works. Again, this is where having a kind of back catalogue of reviews is really, really helpful, because you can link up your Goodreads to your NetGalley account, and then, people who are, when you request a book and they want to check you out before they approve you, they can, see what sort of thing you have reviewed before, what your reviewing style is like. So yes, that is NetGalley. And finally, we come on to physical ARCs, which I think when people think of ARCs and wanting to read ARCs and get ARCs, this is what they think of. They want the free physical book. They want to be like, look what I've got. And I mean, that is great. It is a great feeling. I'm still, the hype I felt when my Gallant ARC arrived, unparalleled. And I think it is worth mentioning, there's a reason I wanted to go through all the digital routes first, because I think most people just it doesn't even occur to them to go down that route. So, that is a really good starting point. Go down those routes. Even if what you really want is physical ARCs, go down the digital route as well. Just to kind of, build up a plethora of reviews and a good reputation for yourself as a reviewer. But in terms of getting physical ARCs, every publisher does this differently. So Harper Teen YA, I think is called, the imprint of HarperCollins that is specifically YA, they send out, I think it's like a monthly email blast or a quarterly email blast to just sign up, and then they will send you a book that they approve you for. It's not always a book you request, as I discovered, but they will just send you books. So yes, sign up to mailing lists that companies have, follow them on Instagram or Twitter, because they will put out that, oh, we're, fill in this form to request an ARC for such and such. Google Forms will be your new friend for getting physical ARCs. And also you can request them direct from the publisher. So I've only done this once, but I was successful, which blew my mind. And I, just found the name of the person in charge of publicity. I sent them an email saying, hi, this is my name. This is what, I would like to review this book in advance. I put like a couple of links to similar, I think I'd like reviewed another of the author's books or like a similar book. I put like a link to all of my reviews for LGBTQ books or all my historical fiction or something. Lo and behold, a book arrived in the post. Shall I burn to get now? You may as well ask. Worst they can say is no. And the last brief thing with regards to physical copies is book tours. Yay! So book tours are a little bit different in that although you're not being paid, money is exchanging hands somewhere. So it is technically an ad rather than a, cool, I've got a free book, So it is a little bit different in that regard. And they will sometimes ask you that if you rate the book below a certain level, so if you give it 1 or 2 stars, that you don't review it at all, which I tend to avoid that sort of thing. It feels a bit, I don't know, if I'm not being paid to promote a book, I must say what I like about it, But book tours are really fun. They're a really good way of meeting other bookstagrammers and book bloggers. There are various companies that run them, so sign up to as many as you can, because some of them have longer mailing lists than others. And yeah, it's a great way to kind of to get more books and have a chance to review some books. So what they will usually do is they will send an email to everyone on their list saying, we're organising a book tour for this book and it's open to people in these countries and you will get a digital copy or a physical copy, and please fill out this form if you're interested. And then of everyone who's interested, they would choose a certain number of people. This is where things like follower count are a bit more important. Understandably, this is a company that's being paid by an author or a publisher, so they want to make sure they're maximising the follower count across the different people they're sending books to. But, depending on the size of the company, the popularity of the book, it's always worth filling out the Google form. I hope that this was helpful for anyone hoping to get into reading ARCs. If you have any tips, if you're an ARC reader and you have any tips you would like to share, or if you've got any questions for ARC readers, then pop them in the comments down below. Like I said, I will do a separate NetGalley video about NetGalley and how that works, because it is a whole other beast. But thank you very much for watching. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Ta-ra for now.